warriors and sorceresses. Let's now talk about what would an alchemist do in today's situation. Alchemist must use his resources the most wisely. So, what are you about to do? Well, you must devote a significant part of your resources to educating the clueless masses around you, so the clueless masses would not save themselves. That is not your mission, but they would save you. You understand that? So the clueless masses will be elevated by you, blessed that they have contact with you, and then you will elevate them to the position where they will understand that having a cloth over their face is not the ultimate cure-all, and they will then fight the monster for you. So when the monster comes to you one day, it will come, the monster will come, that day you will be ready. You understand? Because the monster will be much weaker and you will be ready because you will have contact with the monster through those people. You understand? So as you begin educating your team, your generals, there are some roadblocks that will always happen, and I know that because I lead the resistance in a dozen places, and these are the most common roadblocks. These guys that are the resistance, they are weak, and they are much smarter than the average zombie, the average serf, but they are very weak. They can be hypnotized by a modest looking woman, let me use that wording, or even a non-modest looking one. So what they will do, they will spend huge amount of time blabbering on internet, on the forum, blabbering, especially if it's a girl asking some questions, they will blabber, but basically they are fantasizing that maybe one day they will seduce her. And then if you have a live meetings, which hopefully you will have, because the biggest losers don't even have live meetings, but the resistance groups that have live meetings, what will happen is that you will see that on the live meeting there will always be some woman that is not very attractive, that let me put it politely, not very attractive, that is divorced usually, and she wants attention, and then these guys, since they are so weak, they will give her to listen to her blabber, and they will not do anything, fantasizing that maybe they will be able to seduce you. Okay, you understand? So what is your job as their leader behind the curtain? Remember, your enemy has layers of protections. Why wouldn't we? Why would you be transparent? Why would you be a fool that will register his organization and then try to change the world? Yeah, good luck with that. You will need it. So you will need to educate them, and sometimes you will need to call up those women. You will tell them, why are you, for example, on our meeting with the main resistance leaders for the Balkans, there was this woman who was complaining all the time that men today are so weak because she had a mini skirt and she was walking in front of some guys, young guys, and they were playing computer games instead of looking at her. But she is not, she is not something to be looking at, and even if she was, maybe there would be a demon inside her sucking your energy, blah 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 blah. So these losers that are leaders of the Balkan anti-corona movement that manage at this time we have the easiest measures in the whole world except Africa and Antarctica and parts of South America. The reason we have is because we have these resistance leaders. So they are important because they cannot be too strong. They cannot be too strong because then the masses, and one who rules the masses rules this reality, will not understand them. Okay, the masses, you have to be super toxified to be able to be perceived by the masses. And immediately these guys wanted to give her attention, but I just laughed at her, and that was enough. Like I love that somebody would even look at her, and that was enough for her to shut up. So these future resistance leaders would not be sacked. Okay, so what you have to do is you have to explain them the theory, but they will be too weak. They will be too weak. In practice, you will have to, when there is a woman sucking your resistance leaders, you will have to engage and shame her. Okay, the same goes the other way. If you have strong woman resistance leaders, you must explain them that in the whole world the church burned smart women, proclaiming them to be witches. Why? Because a smart woman is the biggest threat to the Catholic Church, and even bigger threat than a smart man. Today they are dealing with the man. 200 years ago they dealt with a woman. And basically all big religions are like that. All of them. And you have to explain that to the woman, that they are smarter than the man. They can manipulate the monster to bite their tail off, but they do not have the physical power to combat the monster close range. And that means if you have woman resistance leaders, you must be there for them so that some zombie would not attack them because they do not have a mask. Because if you're a man, a zombie will have a hard time attacking you and shaming you and being aggressive towards you if you don't have a mask. But if you have a woman, male zombies and woman zombies could attack her, that she is spreading the deadly disease because she does not have a mask, and you will need to physically, listen to me, physically in material life be there to protect your woman resistance leader. Okay, you understand? So, but usually men are the main leaders, just because it is too easy to shame a woman. They have a hard time, like in the last 200 years ago, from the time when the sorceresses were burned, proclaimed witches. They have a very hard time anyway. So 9 out of 10 resistance leaders will be a man, and he will always be a big loser. And you have to explain to him that all kinds of women will suck his energy, and that is a bigger danger than some Illuminati master, Masonic lodge, prince. That is a bigger danger, which he does not understand. Okay, he does not understand. He thinks that some Sauron or Saruman or what's his name guy that calls the big one eye on top of the tower will come and get him. No, he won't. The matrix will work through a woman that will suck his energy. Okay, great. That is why it is very important that you initiate live meetings, because you could be blabbering ad nauseum to these people on internet forums, blabbering ad nauseum, and maybe they are total losers, maybe they are informers, maybe they are artificial intelligence of the matrix, who knows. And also while you are blabbering, it's very hard to have an encrypted forum, protected your own hosting. That's very hard, that's advanced. So, and protect your own computer, that's very hard, it's very complicated, even for me. So you don't have it, you don't have a computer that is safe, connection that is safe, forum that is safe. You don't have it, basically. 100% sure that you don't have it. So it's always better, since you are acting locally, to have a local resistance meetings that you have to initiate, because these people are so programmed, and I'm talking about the people not wearing a cloth on their face. They are so programmed to go on computer that they will rather spend whole night chatting than meet you. Okay, so you must initiate these meetings and never spend time on somebody who is posting if you never saw him in real life. Never. Okay, great. There is also one other important thing, and that is that our material brains cannot process the negative. You understand? They cannot process the negative. For example, if I tell you, don't think about Magami being rich and successful. Don't think about Magami being rich. You will, of course, think that I'm rich, and then you will negate that. Okay? So the problem of reading other people's opinion on forums is that you have to first picture in your mind their idiotic serf opinion in 99% of cases, and then you have to negate it. But their idiotic serf opinion already destroyed you. That is one of the reasons why I recommend to my clients and to everybody who is a warrior or sorceress, only spend maximum, and listen to me, this is non-negotiable, maximum 5 minutes per day reading the mainstream media. Listen, it's only 5 minutes. More than 5 minutes, even for me, becomes toxic. Okay? That is why you have to ignore people. You have to ignore. Once you are sure that somebody is a serf, you ignore him. You never listen to him. Never. Don't worry. Serfs will, in 99.9% of cases, they will never change. They will stay serfs. Even if they do change, they don't need you. Do you think a warrior or sorceress needs you? No. You can be of some help. But if you do not help him, tomorrow he will find his way. There is no stopping. There is no stopping a warrior or sorceress. Nothing can stop them. So a safe measure that I practice in my life is just to ignore the serfs. Okay? Especially on internet forums. In the anti-pandemic activities, when you meet somebody in material world, he's already relatively strong because he managed to come to the meeting. So, but even then you can start to ignore him if you think he's a serf. But on internet forums, do not read a person's posts once you are reasonably sure the person is a serf. Okay? Because you have to process the negative. Remember, do not think about Magami being rich. Do not think about Magami being healthy. Do not think about Magami relaxing and laughing at the pandemic. You understand? You have to first think about the positive, and then you have to think about the negative, okay? So, remember that. Give yourself approval. Give yourself approval. Don't feel, you will feel guilty. If you feel guilty, you need to do detoxifications. If you feel guilty that you are not giving everybody a chance. Do you think that Matrix gave you a chance? Do you think you had a chance? You didn't, okay? And the Matrix commanders do not feel guilty about that, okay? When they told you to wear a stupid piece of cloth over your face, do you think you had a chance? And now, very important part that is not so easy to understand. There are certain kind of programmings in the collective mind of people, and one of them is the Top Gun, American, made in America. In the last 70 years, the American Matrix spirit was pushed upon everybody as being the coolest, as being the best, blah 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 blah. Many people think it's because Americans did not suffer in the Second World War, did not get destroyed, but it's not because of that. America was poor after Second World War. It's because the bankers chose to finance America in the 50s. That is what helped America, not being not destroyed in the war. And it's important to know that even the people that understand that wearing a piece of cloth on your face is not a cure-all, they still have the inadequacy, if they are not Americans, to think, oh, Americans are the best, they are Rambo, they are Tom Cruise, wow, we need... And even if you don't have an American, it needs to be an English speaker, maybe from United Kingdom. He's like, oh, okay, that's also something in English, not American English, but in English, so it's also authority. So what you have to do for your groups, your Corona anti-pandemic groups will, of course, post. Try to push them from Facebook to Telegram. Only 10% of if you manage to transfer 10% of people, that's fabulous. Usually less than 1% you manage to transfer to Telegram. And then try to post on Facebook, on Telegram. Try to post materials that are anti-corona pandemic but American materials. Okay? Because people are programmed in most of the world that the spark needs to come from America. America is so cool. Ford Mustang. Yes, we may say that Korea is rising, Japan is rising, China is rising, but these people have so much low self-esteem. Okay, they have so much to catch up. They still want to be Americans. You understand? Especially white Americans. You understand? So play on that card. Don't think if you live in like Belgium. You think in Belgium, if you live in Belgium, that a local guy can lead the resistance ideas? What is the self-confidence of Belgium? Okay, you understand? Or do you think if you live like in, let's say, Italy is a little bit better, but also destroyed after second. Germany is the most horrible. German guilt is the biggest guilt in the universe. It's the biggest guilt in the universe, and if you had the best anti-pandemic idea, then you would not be recognized. Eastern Europe, well, they did win the Second World War, but they are these losers, communists that surrendered. The Eastern Bloc surrendered themselves to the Western demon on the Metallica concert. The Metallica concert, the biggest concert in history, was the place when loser serfs of Russia, they said, well, we would like to exchange the communist demon, communist tentacle, with the hidden hand Western demon, which was even worse for them. Okay, it was even worse. So do you think that they will value if anti-pandemic idea comes from them? A little bit. Okay, they have some pride. But still what is universally missing from the corona groups is this self-confidence, this attitude, and it's something that if you have the time and energy, you need years to fix that. And you don't have those years, because every second you have restricted breathing is a problem. So try to explain the American inadequacy to your generals, but who knows, will they understand? But you make sure that you post every day to the groups which you help. You need to post American anti-corona information, because to their subconscious that will be the most digestible and people will follow it. Okay? Fabulous warriors and sorceresses. Now it's time to throw the wrench into the machine. If you want to lead the group in your area that will take the battle on their own hands, so you do not have to do the battling, you do not have to be in the ditches, contact me and we'll see what we can do about it. And don't make a critical mistake, which even some of my clients did. When I taught them these principles of helping the corona movements, the corona groups, they knew they shouldn't discuss them with their family or with their old friends, but they made some of them made an exception, because look, it's a old friend, but we cannot breathe, they cannot breathe, their children are going to school, they cannot breathe. I have to tell them, no, you do not have to tell them. Let them suffocate. Listen to me. Let your parents, your grandparents, your high school, middle school friends, let them not breathe. Let them suffocate. Their serfdom needs it. They need, and be very happy. Be very happy, because Magami does not think that corona is a big tragedy, because the serf need for humiliating himself and to destroying himself and his own children is very big, usually it will be manifested in a war, and if there is a war, it's very hard to dodge bullets. Maybe we who can bend the matrix, so we can dodge bullets, but it's hard. But it's much more easier to dodge a piece of cloth over your face, okay? So be happy that we've got the corona pandemic and not a major war with classical weapons. Now it's time to throw the wrench into the machine.